if they were told they had a weight problem, that there were issues with it, they were way more likely to do something about it, to acknowledge it and do something about it. But the challenge was that in about 50% of the cases, nothing was ever mentioned. Now, I think the reason that nothing was ever mentioned is because we don't really have any great solutions. And why bring up a problem if you don't have any way to resolve it, right? But the bottom line is, it's just a formula, like anything else. The challenge I see out there with most weight loss programs is that they do not have all 5 elements, and losing one of these, even one of these, is going to make it not work. It's like baking a cake and leaving out the eggs. So you have to have each one of these things in order to have the program work. And what happens when people look at this, they think, oh, this is going to be very time consuming. So what I'm going to show you today is how to do this. What you must have in a weight loss program. When I say weight loss, I really mean fat loss. What you must have in a fat loss program, and then also how you can do this in a leveraged manner, because I do not believe people should work below their pay scale. So there's a lot of things that are involved in a weight loss program, a fat loss program, that an MD really shouldn't be doing, that they can have done through forums, through technology, and through virtual health coaches. I run my entire business virtually, and I spend no time in it. It's all already been recorded, and I have coaches that do it. So the 5 fundamentals are measure and track, accountability and support, fast results first, customize to compliance, and plan for maintenance. So the first one, measure and track. What you measure, you can improve. And again, you have to know you have a problem before you can fix it. So there's a variety of things that you can measure. And nowadays on the internet, there's a variety of ways we can also track these things. In my programs, I have people tracking, of course, every week. They have to track their weight, their measurements, their body composition. As I start to get them working on exercise, I have them track their steps. I have them move more to start with, and I have them track their pedometer steps. I'm going to have them recording what they're eating, tracking their water, tracking their bowel movements. Obviously, we're not going to do this all at once. They'd be overwhelmed. But as they get a handle on one thing, we move to the next. Although one thing you'll want them to do really for the rest of their life is track their weight and their measurements. And it's interesting. And we'll talk about a couple studies. This was one where all they did was give school children pedometers, and they watched an hour less of TV a day. Didn't give them instructions. That's all they did. So the interesting thing, and I'll tell you, when I was brought on to Dr. Phil, the first month no one was losing weight. This was years ago when he first started. He wrote the weight loss book, and he first started the challenges with 13 people, and he thought he could give them the book, put them on TV, leave them alone for a month, they'd come back and they'd have lost weight. And there was massive hysteria phone call because they hadn't lost weight and they were coming back in. And they hadn't lost weight because they basically were given the book and then sent on their way. And you can't do that with people. They have to have constant monitoring. So the big thing we flipped there to start them losing weight was to start them writing down what they were eating, which meant at one point I was looking at 40 diet journals every single day because I somehow got volunteered for that one. But it was the big turnaround. And it's interesting, this study shows that the most powerful predictor of whether someone was going to lose weight or not was how diligent they were with their food journal. Because when you use food journals with people, what you'll find is that they write down the good days, right? They don't do the bad days. You know, that was a bad day. You want to see all the days. And by forcing them to do that, because people typically underestimate their calories. Now, one of the things I like to say is that our body is not a bank account. It's a chemistry lab, and while calories count, where they come from counts more, but you still have to know how much you're eating. Too much healthy food's unhealthy. And for so many of us, we're really not aware of how much we're really getting in. I mean, one of the things that we did on Freaky Eaters, and Freaky Eaters is a show on TLC where people are addicted to a certain food, most often seems to be French fries. Usually things like French fries, lots of carbs and sugar, but we would actually put them in front of how much they were consuming in a month or a year, and they were just blown away. We'd make them guess at how much food that was, and they go, oh, you know, 5 years. It's like, no, try that was a couple months. We had one girl that was addicted to tartar sauce, literally 50-gallon vats of tartar sauce that she thought maybe was 5 years worth. That was the equivalent of a year. So people do underestimate, which is why it is so critical. And in fact, recording what you're eating is such a big deal that I do not let people participate in our programs unless they will do this. They get fired, non-optional. And I think that's an important stance to take, because if you don't take that kind of stance with patients and you let them feel like this is a little open-ended, what do? whatever they want. That's what got them there in the first place. You have to be so strict with them so they understand that this is non-negotiable, that they have to do this. So the other part of this is accountability and support. And I found this, I kind of stumbled upon it by accident. It is part of now of my different weight loss programs, and my Fresh Start Fat Loss program is I was doing a business coaching program, and we had a forum where we all were sharing ideas, and they would post classes, and we were able to have someone in there monitoring, and I thought, gosh, I have to use this for my programs. What a time leverage. And what was so amazing is I started out 25 years ago in nutrition and fitness, seeing people one-to-one and charging them by the hour. And pretty quickly I realized I better charge by the program and make them pay in advance, because if you don't have people pay in advance, and that week they have to decide whether to spend money on you or get a manicure or massage, what are they going to do? Right? Especially if they've been bad. They are not coming to you. So I always tell people, have them pay in advance, because if you have them pay as they go, right?